Welcome to Moments in Time and Space, a microfiction podcast, bringing you tales of horror and suspense with your host, Aaron Maracle. Hello everyone. No one is sure what the afterlife is like. All one can do is hope that the next plane of existence is nice, and that nothing stops us from reaching it. Craig found himself floating in cold darkness. There was a brilliant flash of light that was too intense to look at, so Craig closed his eyes. Gone was the cold and sensation of floating. There was now warmth, and Craig was pretty sure he was sitting in a chair. "Hello?" a polite young voice called. Craig opened his eyes and found himself in a small off-white office. He was sitting in a simple chair in a mostly featureless room. Across from him was a small desk with an older-looking computer resting on it. Behind the desk sat a young woman dressed in a sharp business suit. She smiled at Craig and waved. "Mr. Craig Johnson?" the young lady asked. "My name is Lacey." Craig looked around the small room in confusion. Where am I?" "Mr. Johnson, I regret to inform you that you are deceased and have passed on from the mortal realm. Allow me to offer my condolences. I hope your passing was not traumatic or extremely painful." No, it wasn't. I don't think. I'm glad to hear that. Am I in heaven or... Craig made a pair of horns from his fingers and held them to his temples. Lacey giggled. No. Our records show that you have been granted access to enter heaven with all rights and benefits conferred upon a being as such. Congratulations. Oh, you. Before you can enter heaven, souls are required to pass through the intake zone, where we go over any outstanding mortal business that needs to be addressed. What? You're here so we can check to see if your affairs are in order. Gotcha. Lacey turned to the large white computer on the desk and began to type on the keyboard. She hummed as she scanned the screen and nodded approvingly every so often. Craig shifted in his chair and kept looking around the room, still trying to fully contemplate what was going on. He tried to recall what was his last mortal moments were, but all Craig could remember was driving a car before the darkness came. The computer beeped twice, and Lacey frowned slightly. She hit more keys and studied the monitor intently, but the frown remained on her face. "Something wrong?" Craig asked. "There appears to be one outstanding issue with your affairs," Lacey explained. "There's a flag in your file that indicates you did not pay your taxes between 1990 and 1992. Is that correct?" "Well, yeah. I didn't owe a lot during those years, so I just never bothered to file." "Oh, I see. Is that a problem?" Lacey's frown turned back into her charming smile. "Not so much a problem as an issue that needs to be resolved. The living joke that nothing in the world is certain but death and taxes, but it is no joke. The powers that be want to ensure all affairs of new arrivals are properly settled before entrance into their respective realms. So what happens now? Do I have to pay my taxes?" Lacey laughed. "Of course not. That would be silly. Where would you get the money?" Craig laughed too and relaxed in his chair, thinking about what heaven was going to be like. "To settle your outstanding debt, you'll be sent back to the mortal realm and forced to haunt a location as a spirit. Once you perform this service for a suitable period of time in relation to your debt, you'll be recalled back to the intake zone for final processing," Lacey explained. "Any questions?" "What?" Craig gasped. "You're going to have to be a ghost to pay your tax debt." "For how long?" Lacey looked at her computer screen. "Based on what you owe and your actions in your mortal life, the period of time comes out to be 75 years. 75 years? That is crazy. Be thankful you don't owe more taxes. Good luck." Lacey waved, and Craig vanished from the small office before he could say another word. The young bureaucrat sighed and glanced at her computer. 8 more cases were in her queue, and 2 of them looked quite complex. Lacey rolled her eyes and prepared for the next arrival, putting on a forced smile. It looked like she'd be working through her lunch again. Are your affairs in order? Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. You can also follow me on Twitter at MomentsInTAS. Feel free to recommend this podcast to others and help it grow. The opening and closing theme is Creepy Night by Daniel Carlton. Until next time, be safe, be smart, and be well. See you soon.